listeners, and welcome back to the Skylight Books podcast series. You're in for a treat. You're
question mark?
A Christmas treat.
You're in for another glorious episode of Better Than the Movie, where some booksellers get together with a talented guest to discuss movie adaptations of books. I'm your co-host, Justin Remer.
I'm Allan Traylor.
And you may have noticed a gap there. There's no Tyler Austin.
He was not deemed worthy.
Yeah.
He is no knight.
Yeah. He lost his head in many ways. But also
mildly infirmed.
But also this is kind of payback as well for the Misery episode where you got to miss Misery. True. And it was actually a book you really wanted to talk about.
It's fine. It's fine. It's fine.
And Tyler's over here. Tyler's over here being like, I don't know. I don't really like horror movies.
Yeah, no, it's cool. I don't regret that at all. No, it's fine.
So yeah, we're definitely not going to talk about Tyler's pick for the genre, which he shared with us in text.
I will though.
Oh, nice. Yeah, take it. Anyhow, so our guest for today is a friend of the pod, fan of the pod, enthusiast of the Green Knight, as indicated by the shirt he's wearing.
My A24 merch, yes.
Pretty
yeah. You got to get that A24 merch.
Did you get the A24 blue?
Oh, the
4K?
The 4K, yeah. I had the 4K. Yeah. I didn't get the board game. I thought, I don't know.
Too much.
I don't know if I'm going to play this ever.
Sure.
So, yeah, I drew a line there.
Yeah, for now.
You should check out his enthusiasm for movie and especially analog media on his Instagram, VHS_spectacular. Conor Holt!
Woo, hello.
Thank you. Thank you for having me, guys. Yeah, big fan of the podcast, big fan of Skylight Books.
Again, I'm sorry.
I came to your screening of Orlando at the Los Feliz 3.
I'm definitely sorry.
Hey, that was terrific. Great film.
Yeah, and our introduction was pretty good. You're never going to watch that video on YouTube ever again.
No, I will not, no.
But yeah, hopefully
very tight pants though. I saw in that video.
Hopefully,
very tight pants.
Hopefully, we'll be able to get into it for the second annual Friend of the Fest, but we'll see.
Yeah,
we definitely have
Hopefully, we get to pick something trashier.
Well, that's the thing. So Orlando was one of the suggestions I dropped into the hat.
It was the outlier that basically won, and I think, fuck.
I think I might just restrain from making any picks this time, so that way one of y'all.
I'm just saying, Tank Girl would have ruled.
That would have been a good choice too.
I agree. I was for well. Tank Girl.
They should do a whole series of graphic novel to film adaptation. That's a really interesting area of exploration because it's a different kind of adaptation than just straight words on a page.
True.
I agree. Yeah, maybe we could do we
can even do Road to Perdition, which is like an easy one.
Scott Pilgrim, Yeah.
Nice. Yeah, no. These are great ideas.
We're
going to steal and never give you credit for.
It's not steal if we're in the room when it came.
Oh man,
you
cut this part out, aren't you?
It's fine,
man.
So I tipped it a little bit because I mentioned the hat and I mentioned Tyler has no head, but Conor, you brought us a few different possible options, and because Dev Patel has the new movie Monkey Man in theaters now, I was like, well, let's do The Green Knight starring Mr. Dev Patel.
Yeah.
Tell me what about that, and maybe also about the original poem that speaks to Sir Gawain and the Green Knight speaks to you, and why you wanted to bring it in today.
Sure. I think King Arthur and Arthurian legends are one of those things that all kids, all boys at least, are interested in when they're growing up. You either see the Sword in the Stone Disney film. You see a kid in King Arthur's Court, which is a fun movie.
So good. Same kid from Rookie of the Year.
Yeah.
Yes.
From last week's pod.
Daniel Craig and Kate Winslet are both in it, young before they were famous.
Yeah. Oh. You know the story of Merlin requiring a kid from modern age to save Camelot? You guys don't know that?
And then my favorite one was there was a mini series called Merlin.
That thing
with
ruled.
With Sam Neill
right,
as Merlin.
Right. I do remember that. Yeah,
adored that. So I think it's one of those things. So you kind of grow up, King Arthur, Merlin, you know all the basics. But then I think if you keep going deeper into that hole, you discover Sir Gawain the Green Knight. It's considered one of the best Arthurian tales. And I read this in college in a literature class, much like David Lowery says he did. He also read it in college, so that was cool.
That's what I was going to say.
Yeah.
I have so I don't have the disc, but I do have a membership to A24.
Yeah.
So I watched I didn't watch all of it, but I watched a big chunk of that 60-minute making of
Yeah.
where he wanders around.
Oh, it's fun. Yeah.
and,
interesting.
and they basically are like, so why'd you do this? He's like, I don't know, I was bored. I like to write Arthur stories as a kid.
Yeah.
And I read this in college.
And he loves Willow, the Ron Howard movie.
Right.
Willow.
He did
Which is
shout
the
out Willow.
funniest. Like, it's not. It's
Careful.
it's
Careful.
it's fantasy, but it's a lot much
Okay.
lighthearted than this for sure.
Okay. All right. All right.
Big Willow fan over here.
Huge. I love War Cavis, man. Come on.
Well, David Lowery is too.
Yeah. Rightfully so.
That reminds me, I still haven't seen his Pete's Dragon. I should check that out.
That's the one I haven't seen actually.
Yeah.
But I love the Ghost Story.
I still haven't seen that one.
And The Old Man and the Gun is great too. So I was very excited for his adaptation of The Green Knight. Whoa. And then I kind of leading to the podcast. When I first saw it, I thought it was great, but I was like, whoa, he changed a lot.
Yeah.
And then I watched it again the second time in theaters. Like, oh, okay, I got a better sense. Oh, I see what he's doing. What he's changed. And then I read interviews. Like, oh, I see what he wanted to explore, different avenues.
Yeah.
And like he says, like he didn't fundamentally alter it. It just he found different ways into it, and he explored nuances and changed little details and came out in different directions. Like, oh wow, like it was not what I was expecting when I first went into it. So
yeah,
that was
I mean,
cool.
his version. It's not tipping it off or whatever, but his version definitely feels more like a cinematic quest where there's a lot of sort of trials as opposed to
And giant naked women.
whereas the poem definitely feels like sort of one sort of prolonged trial or whatever.
It's almost
It's
like
more
a play.
of a fable, yeah.
Yeah. It feels more like I can imagine it on stage because it's it's a lot of it's just conversations.
Yeah.
And then his well, we need to have more. We got to actually have Dev walking around the wilderness, meeting some crazy people and crazy characters. That's definitely part of what.
Yeah, my roommate calls it Dark Souls the movie.
Well, people have told him that. Yeah.
That reminds me of the behind the scenes thing, just because there's the CG fox. The character that's in the movie, but just seeing that little stuffed fox that for camera plays whatever it was so
that's
funny.
pretty good.
Like when it was raining and they're just trying to keep the stuffed fox dry. Anyhow, so we like to start off the episodes usually by just exploring the genre. So we're going to sort of go into I guess knight stories or King Arthur stories and talk about some of the ones we like. Connor, you are the guest, so if you would please begin.
Well, like I said, I think it's one of those things you see a lot of different versions as you grow up, and especially a big for me is Monty Python: The Holy Grail.
Yeah, that's a great one.
Which my dad was a big Monty Python guy. He passed it on to me, and I love Holy Grail.
Yeah.
It's so funny.
If you went to public school in Texas like I did, every substitute just played that. I've seen that movie in school at least 10 times.
And that's weird how every generation keeps doing that, because when I was in high school, my English teacher was like, "No more quoting Monty Python in my class." how is it so bad she had to say that? When clearly it was.
Oh my god.
Yeah. I mean, Merlin's a huge one too. I was going to mention that one too. I really love that miniseries.
And I watched it again, it has kind of this little bit of janky 90s TV CGI.
Sure.
But the performances are so good. Sam Neill owns the role.
Crushes it.
And that's also a case where that's taking the original story, tell it from Merlin's point of view.
Yeah.
And it's all slightly different. It's all a different vantage point. How the characters are portrayed. Even Morgan Le Fay comes off more sympathetic in that version, because in that version, Queen Mab is the real villain. She's also manipulating Morgan Le Fay. It's it's one of those fascinating things where, because it's this archetypal legend that's been around for so long, you can always play with it, and you can always find your own version of it, toy with the characters.
Yeah.
And that leads you to many different interpretations. I watched, there's a 1980s version of Gawain called Sword of the Valiant with Sean Connery as the Green Knight. And it's not great, but it's interesting to see, because in that version, in some ways it sticks closer to the book.
Yeah.
Gawain's a much more heroic, staunch, powerful knight. He's not this kind of self-doubting kind of.
Do you know who played Gawain in that?
I don't know the actor.
Okay.
But like he's kind of more standard
Stevens?
Hollywood beefcake kind of guy. And then but Sean Connery's having a lot of fun as the Green Knight. But
How much is Sean Connery in it?
they have to keep bringing him in like every once in a while. Like he'll talk to him like, Gawain, I can see you.
Yeah.
You have 3 months left, Gawain.
Quit perving on me. I know, man. Calm down.
But that one also like brings in different characters from fairy tales. The ending's very different as well. So like, yeah, these things, these stories are so malleable.
Speaking of Sean Connery, there's the first night
I
as
hate
well
that
where
film.
Oh, yeah.
Terrible. But yeah, there we go. Like also,
Richard Gere cuckolds
From the director
Sean Connery.
of Ghost and
really?
Top Secret
Oh, man.
and Airplane.
wow.
Yeah,
so
that's
bad
a,
though.
Wow.
That's a Jerry Zucker.
So bad.
That was his follow up to winning,
also watched that in school.
to Ghost.
Yeah.
Okay, so the dude that was in Sword of the Valiant was Miles O'Keefe,
Miles O'Keefe,
who
there we
also
go.
was the '80s Tarzan guy.
That makes sense. He looks like Tarzan. They have him shirtless a lot of the films. Like, yeah, like, okay. Got to show that off.
Well, you
yeah.
got to pop that shirt off. Yeah.
Oh, it's a canon film, of course. All right, perfect.
What do you mean, of course? That's a
The
staple
music
of
is
genius.
incredible because it has this like 80s synth score and it just keeps repeating over and over.
Yeah. Look, I'm only paying you for one track.
I think also I said, of course, because I'm looking at the poster and I'm just like, what the? And then, yeah.
Poster comes
That's
first,
a
baby.
very canon poster.
But it's also one of the big things is also like, how do you represent the Green Knight? That's a big thing I think in this story is like that one interprets it as we have a green suit of armor and we put some makeup on Sean Connery's face and it doesn't look great, but like I don't know what you do. In this version, it's different. It's different than the book, but it's so cool though.
Yeah. Like he's the woods.
He's an ent. He's a woodman. He's a
Very entish.
He's definitely non-human almost. Yeah. So
Voiced by
I like that.
the excellent Ralph Ellison.
Or Einstein.
Einstein?
Yeah.
Is that how you say his name?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay.
Einstein or
Einstein, yeah.
Yeah.
From The Witch.
Great voice.
Great voice.
Greed.
What a voice.
Sir?
Oh, I already mentioned First Night. An excellent story all around of cuckolding in the court of Arthur. I was trying to think. There's the Black Knight, in which it's just the same thing, but as a kid in King Arthur's court, but Martin Lawrence this time.
Yeah.
But
well, I mean, those are all probably riffing on Connecticut Yankee.
Yeah.
King,
Oh, for sure, yeah.
Which is literally something I've never engaged with, but I'm
Yeah.
like, okay.
I think I read that in high school because I was a huge fan of him. But I was trying to think of like medieval knight stuff specifically, and really what came to mind was like adjacent shit. Like I loved 13th Warrior. With Antonio Banderas.
I'm actually
yeah,
I'm
I like
actually
that. about
about to watch that because I listened to the Blank Check podcast and they're doing a run of
Why are these guys always stealing shit from my brain?
John McTiernan
Bullshit.
movies. And
Really?
Yeah, they're like
That's cool.
I think for a long time John McTiernan has been one of their like he's a Blank Check guy, and it's also
he's
fascinating.
one of the best, man. Yeah.
Because he had an impeccable run.
Yeah.
Goes to prison
Some
for
shit happens. Some shit happens.
wiretapping a
Yeah.
dude and like
Stuff happens.
Don't get caught. You know what I'm saying? Don't get caught. Also, I will stand by Cliffhanger. Oh, wait, no, that's Rennie Harlan.
That's Rennie Harlan,
Never mind.
yeah.
Never
Director,
mind.
one of the greatest films of all
Also
time.
a great director.
Cutthroat Island, which is amazing.
I kind of remember
still have to
loving
check
that
it
as a
out.
kid.
Masterpiece.
Yeah, I know it's like the biggest flop of all time, but
It just came out.
But that's never stopped me from
It
liking
just came out
something.
on a special edition Blu-ray, so time has proven them victorious.
Who put that out? Arrow or something?
It was a Walmart exclusive with like a
wow.
making of and everything. It's great. It's great.
That's cool.
I'm so happy.
Yeah. But yeah,
Clearly,
that's
people want it back.
13th War was the one that really came to mind for me as something that I really loved.
which is
And
a Michael Crichton.
also
as well.
a more recent thing, maybe kind of the Northman. Similar
yeah.
adjacent-ish
Okay, yeah.
themes in my mind of like
Yeah.
going for valor and losing yourself
definitely.
along the way, that kind of shit. But yeah, I was way more like, the problem with this poem is that it's not about samurai. If it was samurai, I mean, samurai beats knight every time. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. They're just way cooler.
Someone should make that.
Their honor is more cool.
The Japanese reinvention of this story that would work, I think, really well.
I'd watch the fucking shit
That'd be
out
so
of that.
cool, like
I
a
agree.
green yokai.
Yeah, maybe
comes
cut
out.
that. Maybe we do
Yeah.
that. Maybe cut that from the pod.
Yeah, yeah.
Maybe we do that.
All right. And edit point.
Yeah, there you
so
go.
anyhow, that's a great take, Alan. Anyhow, I obviously, as the kind of comedy nerd I am, of course, Monty Python and the Holy Grail jumps to mind immediately when I think of Arthur. But John Borman's Excalibur is also
yes.
a great
it's pretty good.
version of the Arthur story, and also like I guess the first time, because like when Morgan Le Fay is mentioned at the end of the poem, but obviously in the movie she's like right up top.
Yeah.
Like then I was like, oh right. Helen Mirren. Like I literally, while reading the poem, like pictured Helen Mirren, and I was like, okay, yeah, that's who Morgan Le Fay is. Got it.
Or is it Helena?
Or Helena Bonham Carter.
Yeah, I was going to
Also
say
Morgan Le
that's,
Fay.
that's my Morgan Le Fay, bro.
Fair, very much.
And then Gawain in Excalibur is Liam Neeson in like his first movie role. He plays Gawain. He has like 2 lines. But
Wait,
like,
isn't he Arthur's father, or am I mixing?
No, that's Gabriel Byrne as his father.
all
Liam
those,
Neeson plays
all
Gawain.
those Irish lads.
But it was-
different Irishmen.
It's
yeah.
so fascinating that because like Excalibur was like this, it was kind of the biggest King Arthur film of its time.
Yeah.
Shot in Ireland, featuring a lot of Irish actors. And then now this film also shot in Ireland, and it even filmed at the same castle from Excalibur,
that's
and it's
cool.
very different in its own way. But there's so many, it kind of has it just naturally overlaps in a lot of ways.
Yeah.
Even though I think Lowery said like I didn't want to do Excalibur, but I had to watch it, and I had to like, all right, yes, this is the classic. This is what I have to compare myself to, sort of, because this is considered the best version of that.
Yeah. But and I mean also both David Lowery and John Borman have not the same metaphysical concerns, but they have metaphysical like vibes that they lean into, and so there's a decent dovetail there, I think, style wise.
Yeah.
Exorcist 2 underrated.
I watched Zardoz finally.
Don't shake your head at me. Exorcist 2 underrated.
Exorcist 3, bro.
No, Exorcist 3 excellent.
Yes.
But I think it's properly rated at this point.
I don't know if 2 is underrated,
I
though.
think 2 is still no, it's good.
Okay, man.
It's good.
Okay.
He's got a fascinating career. He's got multitudes, man.
Yeah.
Sure.
His film, The General. Have you ever seen that?
Oh, yeah.
With Brendan Gleeson.
Yeah.
Is phenomenal.
I think
But
that
no
was
one
the
ever
fir-
talks about it. It's
Yeah,
so
I think
good.
that was the first time I saw Brendan Gleeson was in The
And
General.
that was his kind of breakout leading role, and he's phenomenal. But I wish that was more talked about more often. But
Yeah.
John Borman, underrated director.
Yeah.
Agreed. Cool. All right, so let's dig in. So we have Sir Gawain and the Green Knight, a poem by Anonymous, but the version we all read was the J.R.R. Tolkien translation from Old English into slightly elevated modern English.
Yeah.
And then, the film written and directed by David Lowery, The Green Knight, starring Dev Patel, Alicia Vikander, and
Always great to see
Barry
her.
Barry Keoghan.
Oh yeah, Barry Keoghan.
Keoghan. Yeah, I was like, when that
weird
little
little
freak
freak.
popped up, I was like, oh, they got the original little freak in here. This is so good.
Just a good time.
It's a pretty stacked cast.
Joel Edgerton, Rolf
Like, all around.
Einstein.
I love Joel Edgerton.
Yeah.
I realized that I want to throw to Tyler and be like, all right, summarize, and I'm like, oh shit, Tyler's not here. But fortunately, the poem itself isn't. It doesn't have that much story. The movie has a lot more story. So I can just give you like the log line of the poem, which is that it's Christmas time. Arthur and his knights are gathering for the Yule. A mysterious green knight comes into the hall and is like,
just dick swinging, just not invited, bursting through the door.
he's like, I gotta.
And he's like, "Who's the fucking king shit around
Yeah,
here?"
exactly.
He's
You're
like,
all
"Dude, slow down."
You're all cowards. I'm way
He's
cooler
like, "You're
than all of
pieces
you."
of shit. None of you can stand to me." Yeah.
got a great idea. Who wants to just take a slash at me? Go ahead, just take
Yeah.
a slash. Here's the thing.
Yeah.
In 1 year, I'm going to take that same slash right back at you.
Yep. Seems fair.
And Arthur in the poem is, I think, supposed to be much younger than Arthur in the film. And he's like, all right, bro, let's do this. Let's
Yeah.
do this.
Down.
And Gawain
Yeah.
is like, hey, man, hey, cool down.
Yeah.
I'll take this one for you. Chops the Green Knight's head clean off. But guess what? This guy's a little magic.
Yeah.
Oh no.
He puts that.
He just grabs it,
He picks that head up and he's like, "Cool, see you in a year and a day, baby."
laughing as he leaves.
But because of chivalry and whatnot, Gawain's like, I guess that's how it goes. Year passes. He's like, cool, I'm gonna go find the Green Chapel where the Green Knight's waiting for me. Chop my head off.
Should be simple.
Yep. And along the way, he gets taken into this castle where there's a lord and a lady, and the lord similarly has a weird switch him up plan with him. He's like, how about this? You're only 2 miles away from the Green Chapel, and you got 3 days.
Yeah, just chill out here.
Just chill out here. I'm gonna go out hunting.
No strings attached.
Whatever I get hunting, that's yours,
That's
baby.
yours.
That's yours.
You could just have that. But also, whatever you get,
that's mine, baby.
that's also
Wink,
mine.
wink, nudge, nudge. Know what I mean? Know what I mean?
Yeah, you're still on the quest, dude.
Yeah, which is odd because it's all right. When you think I'm going to pick up in your house, all right.
Yeah.
But it turns out kisses, kisses from that lady.
Yeah. Kisses which he is owed by right.
But in the poem at least, Gawain is pretty forthright, and he's like, "Well, thank you for all this delicious meat that you've slaughtered. Here's the smooch I got." Mwah. And I think by the
And
third day,
he's a little
then
more
the second day, same thing. Gets
Yeah.
another smooch. All right, fair.
Yeah.
But she keeps insisting, let's go further. That's no. I'm a knight. I can't do that.
Look, I'm going to have to do this with your husband, so I can't. I just don't want to do that. I'm
is the
sorry.
implication.
Yeah,
He
that's
never says
100%
that,
the
but
implication.
it is the implication.
right?
He's very much aware of what he's going to have to do, and he's like, I don't really want to say, but I don't want to do it.
Right.
And it's like, what's your beef, man? What's your problem?
Yeah, Mr. Anonymous is hinting very clearly in his text. But but eventually she's like, but you know what? All right, fine. We're not going to let this get beyond the smooching stage. But I got a lovely girdle for you. It happens to be a magic girdle.
Yeah.
Best kind of girdle.
That Green Knight tries to chop that head off of yours, baby. You're safe.
Yeah.
You won't get no head chopped off situation.
This is what's called a loophole.
And he's like, I really would like to not die tomorrow.
I'm not that chivalrous.
Yeah.
God.
So he's like, all right, give me that girdle, baby. And then, when
But
asks,
she does sort of give it to him as proof of him staying away from her a little. It seems like a test-ish.
But he doesn't give it to the Lord.
well, that's what I was going to say. But it also
yes.
seems like the kind of thing that he should then surrender.
Oh, 100%. Yeah.
This doesn't happen in the movie, but then the payoff is that when he goes to meet the Green Knight, it turns out that the Lord the whole time has been the Green Knight.
Yeah.
Same dude, and he eventually has to. Does he surrender the girdle in the poem?
Well, the whole idea is that the Green Knight takes 3 swings at him. The first swing, he stops. Second swing, he stops. And the third swing, he nicks him. And he says, the first 2 days, you returned the kiss, so I gave you, I don't kill you. But the third day, you held something back, so I have to nick you as proof that you held something back from me. So it is the real quest. Getting from Camelot to the capital didn't matter. The quest was actually these 3 days in the Lord's house.
Don't fuck my wife.
That was the real.
He's the real
Can
quest.
you resist my wife?
Yeah.
That was the real quest, and you almost made it.
Hey,
You
pretty
slightly-
closer than most, man.
And the Green Knight's like, "Hey, man, you did a great job. You were very good. No beef, man. It's okay."
Yeah, pretty good.
Honestly, closer
9
than,
out of 10.
Closer than the Gawain in the movie, because he's just like, yeah.
You're no knight.
We'll get there.
And then the whole twist is that it was all Morgan Le Fay's doing. She bewitched me and made me do this.
Yeah.
I mean,
I'm just like a crazy cool lord, and I've just been bewitched by
yeah,
I'm just
exactly.
chilling.
by
She made
Arthur's
my
sister.
skin green and all that. Yeah, sorry, man. It was all test basically to prove that the Knights of the Round Table were a bunch of cowards, and she wanted to prove that. But don't worry, you proved that at least one knight is not a coward.
Yeah,
so you
mostly
good job.
not a coward.
Mostly not a coward. So good job.
Mostly not a coward. Yeah.
So
Right.
then he goes home. Then he goes back. Yeah.
And then just is like, that little kernel of cowardice, though, is really fucking with me.
Yeah.
The end.
Yeah.
So he wears the green sash for the rest of his life. Apparently, that's to prove that, to show that he's not perfect or something.
Yeah, exactly. And that's the poem. And then David Lowery took it another way.
I mean, he basically does that,
Yeah. But
but a lot more.
a lot more.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, because the poem isn't that long, really.
Yeah.
So like it is kind of this weird. Like I said, like there's a whole middle part where like, and he went on this journey and he met some trolls and some ogres and a lot of fights happened.
Right.
But none of that matters.
Yeah.
Then he gets to a castle. Like,
Right,
and
yeah.
Laura's like, whoa, whoa, whoa! What is this one page of description here where he's traveling through England? Let's dig into that. What happened then?
Yeah.
And that's really awesome, I think, because
Yeah.
like I want to see how he got from Camelot to the castle.
Yeah. I guess before we dig into the movie, though, like what was, because obviously we're not reading epic poems every day, like what was your like reactions to the poem?
Oh, my brain was fighting it at every turn. Every turn. I was just like, oh my God. Just say what you mean. Oh my God. I don't know what this is.
Damn it, Tolkien.
And then I'd have to read.
Cut to the chase.
Well, you know, I was listening to it on audiobook so I could work as well.
But
which I think is the best way my brain could have taken in this information through osmosis.
Well, Connor and I were talking before I hit record that what I did is actually I had the book, but I also was listening to the Terry Jones reading of it.
Yeah.
So like I actually liked that a lot because of the performance of the poem, but then also like seeing it there on the page, it was like, okay, this is either.
I wish I could have gotten the Terry Jones version.
That sounds really cool.
Yeah.
Does he do voices or he just reads it straight?
He does a slight switch, but he doesn't like do a full character, which I actually appreciated because sometimes like when it's like too much of a full character, I'm like, come on, like don't make a meal out of it. But he's definitely like when it's the knight, he does like a deeper voice, and like when it's the lady, he just lightens it up a little bit, but not like as bad as like actually speaking of Jaws, like in Jaws where it's just like I'm a lady, la da da da.
Yeah. You know how they speak. Yeah.
Allan is wearing a Jaws 19 shirt from Back to the Future 2, which is why I was like, speaking of Jaws, apropos of nothing to the listener, but
You
like,
always have Jaws in the mind. That's
Kind of.
kind of always have Jaws on the mind.
Great movie.
But yeah, I enjoyed it that way. But what I was going to say that really I think stood out, both reading it and listening to it, is like there's so much alliteration.
Yeah.
Like it almost feels
Yeah.
like too much alliteration.
Yeah, the version I heard was just some kind, beautiful soul on YouTube that just read that version in multiple parts, and he would get caught up in moments and would have to reread the line. It was like listening to a audiobook in the making. Like he kept his flubs in, which I kind of enjoyed.
Yeah.
But yeah, there's a lot of lines that are kind of hard to say. But maybe reading would be a lot easier.
I think it is. It definitely is. The author, anonymous, whoever they are, it's definitely
was me.
showing. It's showing off at times. It is like elaborate. It's very florid. It's very, you can imagine a guy in a court or at a fancy party telling and he's showing off by the alliteration. He's showing off all these very clever, witty phrases he's thrown in there.
Yeah.
That's almost equally as important as the story he's telling.
Yeah.
Like he definitely likes. It's about how it's being told as much as what's being told itself. In
Yeah.
a lot of ways.
Yeah, that makes sense. I think I appreciate it. I am kind of interested in the version that you listened to because I think one of the things I did appreciate about Terry Jones's reading is that he didn't. It's not like he ignored the meter or because basically every stanza kind of ends with the rhyme and stuff. But like he definitely found the way to like find the logical through line that isn't necessarily making it like ba 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 ba.
Yeah, there
ba,
wasn't
ba,
a
ba, ba,
cadence
ba, ba,
really
ba.
to the version. I mean, he tried every once in a while, but it was mostly just. It's just something. It's a text that he enjoys, so he just kind of reads it the way he feels.
Nice.
Uh,
do you
I
remember
found it
the name
palatable.
of the YouTuber
It's
or
like
whatever?
incredibly nerdy. Hold on, let me look it up.
Hemingsway Van Lichtenstein.
No, it's not incredibly nerdy. It's close though. Let me see here. It is Hidebound Convivium. Shouts out to him. Shouts out to that. Which all the comments are people being like, "I'm in college, bro, and this is saving my life. Thank you so much for doing this."
It's funny. I'm thinking back because the class I was in was specifically about journeys in literature. So we read like the Iliad, the Odyssey. We also read Gilgamesh. So like the idea of an
Gilgamesh,
epic quest has been around in human history. That story goes back hundreds, if not thousands of years. And even like this, I was looking up even this story. there's a story in Irish mythology with Cuchulainn about a beheading contest. So like even this idea of like whose manliness, who can get their head cut off. That idea.
I think everyone can get their head cut off. I don't know how that's
but won't run away in fear. Whoa,
Yeah.
You're true man. Yeah. So that idea has been, just like how Romeo and Juliet is based on Tristan and Isolde. Like these kind of mythological stories kept repeating themselves in different versions, and it's interesting how this one is the one that, all right, this one's so good it stuck, and now we still read it today. And some ones just kind of keep getting reinvented as the years go on.
Yeah.
But this, and then the whole thing, how like this was like written in like the 3000s, and then disappeared for 400 years, and then was discovered in like someone's house. Like, oh, this is pretty cool.
Yeah.
What is this? And they had to translate it, and now it's like for 400 years, apparently no one read it, or like no one it was just sitting there in someone's library. Like, yeah, I have this book from 400 years ago.
Yeah.
We should open it. What's in it?
It's a Grisham.
Yeah.
It's my times Grisham.
And then the house burned down and it only barely survived. So it's one of those crazy things where like this piece of history, which probably was an oral tale at the time.
Yeah.
Thankfully, someone wrote it down and now we have it. But 9 times out of 10, this thing got lost to history.
Oh yeah. I guess I wonder what seems to continue to resonate. Like, because I'm not sure how to pin down Gawain's character in the poem as much as in the film, because I feel like in the film you definitely are constantly feeling him being like, I'm not up to, well, also in the film versus the poem, he's not a knight yet.
Yeah.
So you feel him constantly being like, well, I don't live up to this level of chivalry, of bravery, of whatever that is a knight.
Right.
And so that's what this is about, is definitely like that. Whereas I think in the poem it seems like he keeps upholding it, but maybe it's wavering. I'm not sure. Like, what do you...
It seems to be more steadfast in the poem, which is why I think in one of the abstracts they used it as like, this is how a knight should be. Mm. This is how he should operate. Or at least that was my take on it.
I agree. I think definitely that's a big change. It really is the idea that I think in the story, it's the idea that this is Gawain. He is the perfect knight.
Yeah.
And we're going to test him. We're going to really kind of challenge him. And apparently his weakness is a woman trying to kiss him. That's his weakness.
Yeah. Amen, brother.
But but the idea then in the film, it's more he's this very flawed person. He's not even a knight. He's King Arthur's nephew.
He wants to be.
He wants to be a knight, but he's still lazy. But it's more about actually in some ways that the film's more about how he tries to become a knight. He's trying to become honorable. He keeps getting tested, and like
that was a cool switch.
He kind of fails a bunch of times. Like he doesn't. He never gets it right, but he keeps trying. So that by the end of the film, in some ways, he is actually better than he was in the beginning of the film. Where Gawain at the end of the poem is like, "Wow, I thought I was better than this," and it's kind of oh well, you're fine, but he's like, "Man, I thought I was better than this. I thought I was perfect, but I'm not." And Gawain's like, wow, I have actually improved over the course of this journey. Right.
I would also say I think maybe one of the reasons why this particular story prevails is not to bring it back to samurai, but I'm going to anyways. The idea of duty versus desire. I think that's like the main thing throughout this thing, and that's kind of what drives a lot of samurai stories is like the duty of what you have to do versus what you would like to do. And deciding for yourself which is more important to you, and I think that's kind of his ultimate struggle.
Yeah, certainly
in the movie,
certainly in the film. Yeah. This is so in the poem. At the end, we find out that Morgan Le Fay is like, I've set up the Green Knight as this test to, as you said, to prove that like Arthur's knights aren't so great. But in the movie, David Lowery has made Morgan Le Fay
Gawain's mother, or Gawain. So they keep saying Garwin or Gawain, like old English pronunciation.
Yeah,
it drips in
Gawain.
and out.
Yeah. That was the thing. That was Gawain. Like I kept being like, well, I guess I gotta say Gawain, but then Terry Jones says Gawain, so I'm like, well, if Terry Jones says Gawain, I'm just gonna say Gawain. But yeah, so he kind of like made that leap that being like, okay, well, if he's Arthur's nephew, he's not just another.
Yeah, in like mythology, Morgan Le Fay's sister is his mother, so it is like his aunt. Morgan Le Fay is like his aunt.
Yeah,
but like I think Lowery's just like, I think it was just simpler to make her the mother.
Yeah,
and then she can be a prominent character in the film. Like that's a great idea. But then you're right. Then the thing is right. Like from the beginning of the film, we know Morgan Le Fay created the Green Knight. We see her chanting and conjuring. So like that's not a twist. We know from the beginning that the Green Knight is this thing that she conjured.
Yeah. But then that also creates a thing that I don't think the film really answers, which is like, so what is she trying to do for her son, to her son? Like,
I think
does she want his head to get chopped off, or does she want him to be courageous? Like, where?
I think my because we're first introduced to them interacting is him coming from a night of just whoring and just alcohol, and she's like, "What the fuck? God, you're just a fucking lazy son. Piece of shit." She's like, "Well, I'm gonna make a man out of you in the most fucked up way I can think of."
I agree.
I think she's like, "You need to be a dude now because I can't deal with this forever."
He describes it in like the making of. He says this film is it's Willow meets Failure to Launch. It's about a mother because like he already said like I lived at home with my mom and she kicked me out of the house eventually because I was living with her too long. Yeah. So that's what the whole thing is like. I drew on my own mother and me. Yeah. I'm Gawain, and that's about my mother getting me to move out of the house.
Straight up, that's what I got from it. Yeah.
And if you get your head chopped off, well, I guess
you either become a man or you're gone. Exactly. Either way, I win. So.
Yeah.
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 Moms.
Shouts out to moms.
It's definitely a mom movie. Oh man.
Yeah, it's a mom movie for sure.
There's a great in the lead scenes. There's a shot where like when he comes home at night. There's the lead scene where he's like eating breakfast with her, and he won't talk to her, give her a straight answer. So she picks up a shoe and throws it at his head. And he said, "Yeah, I really wanted to keep that, but I had to cut it for time. But I love that shot."
Oh, that's pretty good.
That would have made it maybe way too obvious.
Yeah,
maybe. I mean, it's fairly obvious, but yeah.
But it's also one of those. But it is one of those things with her characterization because, like then when he like takes the bait and chops off the Green Knight's head, then she kind of like faints. Like she's like, "Oh no, he took the bait," and it's like.
Well, maybe she
didn't know he was going to take the bait. Maybe she was more because in the book it says like the goal was to scare Guinevere to death. Because like that, what she says, like that was her motivation was to call out the knights as cowards and also scare Guinevere to death. Because if in the traditional stories, Morgan Le Fay's son is Mordred, who she's hoping to overthrow King Arthur. So that's Morgan Le Fay's overarching goal is to overthrow Arthur. But in this version, where she like lives in at Camelot, it's not quite the same thing. It's more. Yeah. But I'm sure she also is still kind of like she's still behind the scenes. She doesn't go to the feast. She's still kind of like I may be his sister. His half sister, kind of, but I still don't really mix with the rest of the royals here.
Well, I mean, Merlin looks like fucking Rasputin in this version, so I don't blame her. I wouldn't want to eat near that guy.
Also, like he only gets that one moment, right? He gets like one wordless moment.
Yeah, and he's not in the poem though. Like, so it is kind of fascinating. Like these little things like that. Like he puts Merlin there, but he's not speaking. But also like the fact that like I said, like King Arthur is supposed to be kind of like in the prime of his age. Like he's like you're not young, but he's middle aged at best. Say. But this version they make him old. He's like dying. He's like a very sick king, and that kind of creates this tension of like the whole idea that Gawain is next in line because apparently if Arthur has no kids, Gawain is next in line. Then so there's a more tension of like Gawain, are you ready to become king if I die? So that's more motivation to become a knight and be a better person because. Yeah. The whole flash forward, and spoilers for the film if you haven't seen it.
There's a last temptation of Sir Gawain section,
or the Donnie Darko of Sir Gawain.
Oh, God, yeah. What could be? What possible futures I have?
What an excellent sequence, though.
Incredible! Oh my God, so good. And that was in the theater for the first time when you're watching that. It's like, wait, where's this going? Yeah. What is happening? This is incredible. I have no basis for. I'm completely lost here, but I'm amazed what's happening on screen.
Yeah. Speaking about things that are different, there's the addition of Essel.
Yeah.
The first Alicia Vikander character, who is a lady of the night that is I mean,
he's sweet on.
Yeah, it's kind of like
he's her favorite customer.
Are they booed up or like what is their but kind of like they pitch woo.
Friends with benefits,
Yeah.
But she's definitely not like a suitable wife. That's definitely like he likes her, but they both kind of know I really can't be with you because I am technically nobility.
They don't really show that in the story. You just kind of have to intuit that.
Yeah. But it also, like, speaking about your thing about, like, are you suitable to be king? Like, that definitely is, like, one of those things that's underlining that, but, like, doesn't hit it too hard. Like, where you're just like...
Yeah.
Yeah.
And she says, like, one of the best lines of the film is, like, why do you need to do this quest? So I can be great. Is good not enough?
Is goodness not enough? Yeah, it was a great
Like,
line.
why can't you just be
I thought
a
she
good
was
guy
great
who,
in this movie,
who
yeah.
marries me and you're not a king? Why
Yeah.
do you want to be king?
Because he wants to.
He's Simba. He really wants to be
Yeah,
king.
it doesn't matter what he should do. It's what he thinks he wants, you know? But yeah, I love their little relationship.
And then the whole twist, though, that then she comes back as the lady.
Yeah.
Because that's interesting. Like,
Sort of, yeah.
Because you could, like...
I interpret it as that's just like the only way his temptation could actually tempt him.
I interpret
It's
it as
not actually her,
They're
but
not.
yeah.
They're not real. Like,
Yeah.
it's part of the illusion that, in order to tempt him, she's like, "Well, I know you have this girlfriend. I'm going to make your temptation in the face of her." Sort
Yeah.
of. I definitely thought that's
Yeah.
how I interpret it.
Yeah, that's how
Yeah,
I
when
interpret it.
when he eventually gets to the castle and, like, the lady that tempts him is Alicia Vikander
And he's
again,
like, "You're
but,
my
like, she's
friend, but
highborn
even
now.
hotter."
Now she's highborn. Yeah. Now she's actually kind of almost above him. She
Yeah.
like, oh, you're not even a knight. I'm a little better than you actually now.
Yeah.
Well, I love that too, where it's just like, have you read all these books? And she's like, yeah, I wrote those books. Like, people told us to me, I wrote that shit down.
Somewhat of an expert.
But it is fascinating because, like, you could have, like, because, like, Ralph Ineson plays the Green Knight in this amazing bark makeup, but then Joel Edgerton plays the Lord. You could have had Ralph Ineson also play the Lord too,
Yeah.
but he chose not to. But he does have Vikander play both Essel and the ladies. So like, there still is this whole idea of mirror images of
Yeah.
reflections.
I still think the Lord could be the Green Knight. It's just you got that great voice. You got to use it, man.
Yeah, I feel
it would
like
give away the spoiler if the Lord shows up. Hey, I know that voice. You're the Green Knight.
Plus, there is that excellent moment in the film when he's waiting for the Green Knight and seeing the different faces that
Yes.
morph into
That's
being.
what I was
You
gonna
see King
say.
Arthur's
Yeah.
face. You see
Yeah.
the Lord's face.
Yeah.
You even see, I think, even see Morgan Le Fay's face. Like, yeah, like it could be anything. It's like it's magic. It's sort of it is.
Yeah.
This is all part of, and also the fact that hey, he ate mushrooms a few scenes earlier. This could all be in his head right now.
Yeah.
Well, no, that's what the naked giant ladies were. I'm pretty sure.
Well, but getting back to the Lord real quick. So there is a kiss but with Joel Edgerton and Dev Patel, but like it seems like the context is not at all. Well, obviously not what's in the poem, but like what did you read from that kiss? I wasn't sure what we were supposed to take from the Lord, because the Lord kind of is like, give me what's owed me and like smoochy, but I was just kind of like,
I think we're supposed to understand that he knows that he's holding back and he's just being a little playful with him. That was my sort of take. You think he should have like gotten him off to his succession?
No, I feel like Joel
A
Edgerton
secondary
played it
hand
very
job? Is that what you're thinking?
I feel like
He
Joel
should have gone
Edgerton,
all the way. I agree with you. He kind of chickened out. Yeah.
he played it very yearny, but I wasn't
Yeah.
sure. Yeah.
It was a very tender kiss.
That's the whole thing. Like, I was, one thing about this story is the fact that it's an ancient story. It's been around 100 years, and you can interpret it in so many different ways. Because it's a whole different period of human history. So, like, I saw one person interpret it. You can interpret the story as misogynist because it's these women manipulating these men. Like, the lady tempts this guy, and Morgan Le Fay is challenging him. Or you can read it as feminist because these women have all the power, and these poor men are just kind of wandering around and they're being manipulated. That's a feminist take on it. Or the whole aspect of a queer reading of it, where there's this whole aspect of the whole a kiss that you receive, I must get in return. And that's part of the story, and you can interpret that as the film plays it more ambiguous, but like, does the Lord, when he kisses him, does he want the kiss?
Yeah.
What does Gawain think of this kiss? He gives it in the book. He gives it freely. He gives them a big kiss. Yeah. And like, does Gawain feel weird about that? Is that more accepted in that time period? You can read it, but whenever age, now or in 50 years, we may have a whole different perspective on how that reads to our modern sensibility.
Yeah.
But you can interpret it in a lot of different ways.
It's funny because in my head, like reading it, I basically pictured like someone like Errol Flynn just kissing his buddy, and then I'm like,
just like a little peck.
Oh yeah, Errol Flynn. Anyhow, Yeah.
There should have been like a 1940s version of this, because there is the 80s version, and there's other Shakespeare, other King Arthur movies, but like I was thinking this could have been a great silent film. Like imagine like a black and white silent film, but like the green, they painted green onto the Green Knight. That would have been so cool. As like if we discover a 1915 version of this, I would love that, because I think this story could have been really interesting to see in different eras of filmmaking as well.
They got to go deeper into digging in the Yukon, find more.
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
find more lost silent
Dawson
films
City,
for sure.
yeah.
Nice.
Total
You got
tangent.
the Dawson City reference.
But
Anyhow.
have either of you seen the film? I think it's Lost Silver, where it's
Peter Jackson, like his faked. I haven't
his
seen it,
fake
but like
discovered film.
like
It's so
about a
good.
fake filmmaker and his all filmography. Yeah, I've
Yeah.
heard that. Yeah.
Yeah,
It's so good.
It is actually like one of the best like mockumentaries because it's
'Cause people fell for
played
it.
so straight.
Yeah.
Played so straight.
People
yeah.
fell for it.
Yeah. The movie version of him getting the girdle from the lady is amped up a little bit. One might say kind of gilds the lily a little bit in that the lady.
Hey man, he's no knight.
Give it to me. Give it to me.
He's no knight.
The lady milks him onto the band, onto the girdle.
Yeah.
And we see it, and then she says, "You're no knight."
She's not wrong. She's not wrong, man.
Yeah.
Yeah. Whereas in the poem, he's like. He's much more like gentlemanly. He's like
Well, that's also why I feel like
It's a big change, yeah.
The misogynist read is also possible because she's kind of like plainly being like, well, what if I give you this ring? Would you like a ring?
Yeah.
Come on, let's make a deal. And he's like, no ring. What about you don't lose your head? Oh, okay.
Yeah.
You wily woman, you've made it.
See, I just
deal
see it
with
as
me.
like that's just his form of temptation, and he fails.
Yeah.
Like he utterly fails in the
It
film.
reminds me entirely of Monty Python Holy Grail with Michael Palin. I know. Do not tempt me, foul women.
Yeah.
I'm sworn to chastity. Do not tempt me with spanking. No spanking, please. That's
yeah,
what
I mean,
I'm getting out of this
he
scene.
fights a little bit, but not a lot, not a lot of fighting. Truthfully, I don't blame him, bro. That's a hard thing to break.
Yeah. I forget, what is the monologue that Alicia Vikander has in the film?
Oh, the green. 'Cause
Yeah.
That's also
Yeah.
that's
The
the thing.
rot.
Like, what is? Because like in the story, it's revealed that it's all Morgan Le Fay, but like, still, like, who is this? Who is the Green Knight? Like, because in the book, he's described as he's human looking. He has a beard and he has nice flowing hair, but he's just green. But in the obviously in this version, he's made of wood. He's kind of more earthen. He's more monstrous. And she has a whole speech how like, why is he green? Because he's not of this earth. But isn't green of the earth?
Yeah.
Isn't he just? So definitely the film gets more into the whole idea of like he is sort of a representative of nature, of paganism, of non-Christianity. And he's sort of like, I definitely read it as like he's almost like challenging, like, all right, you Christians, you Christian knights,
Yeah.
I'm of the old world. I bet I'm better than you.
So-called civilization.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I almost like, 'cause I think of it almost like he's like a fairy. He's like he's one of like he's a immortal kind of like pagan god, challenging them to like who's better than you or me. But then that's why it's so funny that it feels like a cop out at the end. They're like, oh no, it was all Morgan Le Fay. Don't worry, it's all just a ruse, little cheap trickery.
Yeah.
Ha ha ha.
Yeah.
Because the film comes off a lot more like a horror film at times. Like he said, like he was inspired by like Bram Stoker's Dracula and Sleepy Hollow. It has kind of that kind of gothic feel at times, darker.
Yeah.
And you can definitely read the book more as this kind of fun, jaunty, like, haha, I'm gonna chop your head off. I'm gonna chop your head off. And
Yeah, it didn't.
He plays that as a horror story.
Like that sense of danger is like far less. Like like it's just sort of like duty. But yeah, you're right. David Lowery totally. Like I think during the making of, he at one point is like, and this is the hammer horror part of which is that maybe the Saint Winifred part.
Yeah,
Where,
I
love the little
that's a
side
great
track to
little side
Winifred.
quest.
Saint Winifred is, and just like apparently just because there was just like the slight reference in the poem to Saint Winifred, he's like, why don't we have
Why
a
not?
whole
Yeah.
evening with Saint Winifred? Which it's I don't. Do you know the actress's name who played her?
I'll look it up. Yeah, she's from the movie.
She's in Solo.
Yeah, exactly. That's a funny thing about Lowery is that his films are very, you could say, quote unquote, artistic. He makes this very kind of interesting, kind of complex genre and art house films. But he loves Star Wars. He loves Willow. He says like, oh yeah, you know, he like, I love all kinds of movies. So he's very open with like, I have a million different influences on my films. Yeah, this is how it came out of me in this kind of weird, kind of indie way. But like, I was thinking of these mainstream films while I was making it. So. Yeah. I love that he's not bound by one type of influence for sure. Because like Aaron Kellyman plays it, and like when he first sees her, he reaches out his hand like, "What are you doing?" I wanted the don't touch me.
That's not what a knight would do.
That's not what a knight would do.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry.
And it's like, yeah, bro. I hope you're taking notes. She's telling you a lot of important things in this encounter.
Like, what do I get in return?
Don't ask for a
don't
reward. Ask for that, bro. It's like,
God,
she's asking for help. Like, what are you doing,
you're
man?
A terrible knight.
Yeah.
So the setup to the
I'm
sequence
actually
is
not a knight yet.
The setup to the sequence is just that he's weary for the night. He finds what appears to be an abandoned homestead. He goes in.
Well, it's after he got bamboozled by that little freak.
Oh yeah,
he lost his horse, lost his sword, everything.
The scavenger. Yeah, okay, yeah. But I guess maybe we should take it back
and
to
his bulletproof sash. He lost that too, or his belt.
Oh yeah.
Because like that whole also once again like he's not a knight and he gets jumped by 3 bandits.
Yeah,
they steal the axe. They leave him tied up.
Yeah.
So. Immediately, his quest is gone terribly.
Yeah.
I mean, this is the first thing he's like. He's
this is like the second day in,
and like Dev Patel plays the moment where they basically like hold a knife to his throat and be like, "Give us your shit," and he just like he plays it like it's a street robbery modern day.
Yeah, he's
so
like, "Whoa, hey, bro, I'm not a knight. No, I'm not a knight.
Just passing through."
Yeah, but just like
you look like a knight,
completely like very realistic. Just sort of like, all right, survival mode.
He's never been robbed before, obviously.
Yeah.
But then after he helps Saint Winifred, the axe reappears.
Yeah.
So what was all this? Is this all an illusion? Is this all part of is this all just a conjuring by his mother?
Yeah.
What's real? What's not?
Well, he does mention when he tells them the path to the Green Chapel. He's like, it gets a bit tricky. So it's like
it gets a bit tricky.
Yeah.
He could be just a part of the whole quest, or it's not super clear. I don't think it super matters, but yeah, it is interesting.
But also what Saint Winifred asks him to do is retrieve her severed head from a pond because someone tried to take her purity, her virginity, and she said no, thank you. And apparently that person came back in the night and chopped her head off because dudes are awesome. But yeah, so she's got unfinished business, Sixth Sense style, and she's like, just get my head, please. What do I get in return?
And that's a real cottage, like that. Like they visited the real place. That's a real
really?
Like this is all like that's a real saint, a Saint Winifred who would rather lose her head than give up her purity. And apparently that well has like healing properties apparently now. So they filmed it on Ireland, but they did like do a lot of research, like they much to match Wales, which is where all these things happened in Wales.
Interesting. Oh, I guess so. Yeah, I guess it was kind of a well more than a pond or whatever.
It's it's a spring sort of. It's a natural well, but that's a cool sequence where he dives in and like once again, like it's
enters the ethereal plane.
It's a beautiful film. Like it really because they made it relatively low budget, like 15 million or something like that, for like a King Arthur period film. That's a crazy budget to make it on.
Yeah,
but obviously a lot of it's just Dev Patel. But because of that, they can really play with the colors and the landscapes and all these cool little adventures he goes on. So it makes the most out of a very small budget to make this really interesting, non-traditional. Because like Excalibur has like the big battles and armies clashing. This is like no, it's a little crazy little adventure.
Well, it's an eternal movie, internal movie where it's like from his point of view, his struggles. So it's like. It's kind of a great way to do it.
Actually, the diving in, speaking of internal movies, the diving into water reminded me a little bit of the Lynn Ramsey movie with Joaquin. You Were Never Really Here. Because there's that like whole sequence where he's just kind of like, should I drown myself? And he goes in the water and it just sort of like
spoilers,
falls
bro.
to the bottom. Yeah,
he gets out of the water, but there's definitely the moment.
Double spoilers, bro. What the fuck? follow one with another. That doesn't cancel out.
Turn this off. Oh my god.
Love Ratcatcher though. Great movie.
Great film. And Jonathan Ames is a very nice dude. Comes in the store all the time. He
does.
Wrote the novella that film is based on. Actually, I think also Lynn Ramsey came in the store once.
Really?
Seemed like a nice person. I was like, well, this Scottish person seems like Lynn Ramsey.
Was I there that day?
I don't know.
Okay, that sounds vaguely familiar though.
I really kicked myself because I was like, come on, what other Scottish people look vaguely like Lynn Ramsey would be in the store?
Dozens. Dozens of them.
I should have just been like, hey, we need to talk about Kevin.
Sure.
Anyhow.
I'm sure she would have loved that too.
She loves.
Yeah.
Hey, you got me.
Yeah. She loves having her film titles thrown back at her. Yeah. And I just would have been like, yeah, Ratcatcher.
No, you should deliberately get it wrong. Like, we need to talk about Ratcatcher, or you were never really Kevin.
And
like,
she goes,
what was that film you did?
Cool. You're really cool, man.
Do you want less or more Vern Keller?
So I'm never coming here again. Thank you.
Lost another one. Oh, man.
You were never really Kevin.
Yeah.
Jesus.
That's
All right.
pretty good, actually.
Spin-off movie.
What is the next part of the quest? Who's the next person he encounters in the film?
Well, the giant naked ladies.
Well, yeah, then he takes the mushrooms and he sees a vision of the Green Knight. He sees the giant ladies. And then I think he comes to the house. Yeah.
Has the fox already sort of been following him
the fox
around?
is there.
The fox appears,
and then eventually it talks, but like it's kind of there at the beginning. Like,
it's sort of after the Barry Keoghan, somewhere in there. It's before the ladies, but
because he's like
Barry
he's cold
Keoghan.
and hungry now because he lost all his gear.
Yeah,
and then he finds his fox, and it's like the fox kind of curls up next to him, sort of. Yeah,
right. Mm-hmm. Yeah, because the fox gets hunted in the poem, but like apart from I guess just like having some sort of sidekick, like what did you take the fox for in the film?
Well, there is like in the poem, like when as he's going when he leaves the Lord's house, he goes to the chapel. There's like this servant who says, "You shouldn't go there. Everyone who goes to that chapel dies." So like Lowery said, like, "Well, I just took that and I thought." Rather than have a servant, what if a fox said it? What if the fox character has been following around? What if suddenly he spoke and he says that? So once again, he's like, and like he's taking these things from the book and he's altering them. Like, all right, I'm gonna take this fox that was mentioned in the hunt, but instead of killing it, the Lord gives him the fox. So you can take this fox if you want. And then he combines that with the servant character to kind of like this to be a little more fantastical. It's a little more dreamlike if a fox suddenly talks to you and says, "Don't go there, you're gonna die. You should go home."
Yeah, it can be interpreted as sort of like also part of the quest, like that last little like, "You sure you want to do this, man?" Last everyone
chance,
fucking
turn
dies
around.
there.
I'd say turn around if I were you.
The fox is just like, "Oh shit, this is where you wanted to go? Oh no, dude, this is a bad place to go."
especially with the film adding like chapter titles, and like that title is just like a beheading at the Green Chapel.
Yeah,
like that's where you're heading, man. You're heading straight for that title.
That's where you'd be heading.
Yeah, that's where you'd be heading.
Mm-hmm. I said it.
I
said it.
You said it. I'm not saying you didn't say it. I just wanted to linger in it. I just wanted to soak in it, kind of wash my face in it.
Allow people to stop laughing.
Another thing, though, did you ever read those scary stories telling the dark books as a kid? There's one like same author. He wrote a version of a story called The Green Ribbon, which is a story about a girl who like has a green ribbon around her neck, and when she takes it off, her head falls off.
Yeah,
and he said like because it's in the film too. In that flash forward where he imagines himself growing old. At the final moment, he just pulls off the ribbon and his head just falls off. Like basically he did lose his head. He's been waiting.
Well, he sees
40
that
years.
The path of cowardice still leads to a very terrible life.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But he said, like, he read that. So I love that. Once again, like, even there, like, he said, "Oh, yeah, I read that story." And that inspired that scene in the film. But I was like, I watched it, like, no way. He must have read the story. And, like, I found it on Reddit. Like, oh, yeah, I did read that. Yeah. Yes, I was right.
Yeah, totally.
But I love that he's, like, bringing in all these different influences and different from all different directions and putting that. I'll put this in the film. This is a great. I'm not just beholden to the story. I'm an artist. I'm going to put all my other influences on this too. Yeah, this idea of what could be my possible life, where he leaves Essel behind. He marries a noble woman, which is proper, and then his son dies in a war that he led. Like that whole idea of maybe you can die now, but if you die later, maybe not so great. Maybe it's better to die right now.
A lot of people get fucked over by you. Yeah.
Yeah.
What's life worth living for?
Yeah.
True love.
Yeah.
To Blave, obviously. That always bothered me as a kid because, like, he could have been To Bluff. That sounds a lot more like True Love. But he was like, no, To Blave.
You were playing cards and something. He cheated.
Yeah.
Another great medieval fairy tale movie,
Yeah.
Princess Bride.
The Princess Bride. I just real quick, I just wanted to shout it out. It's like I gotta hang up the phone in my head. Carmen Maria Machado also has that excellent story collection, Her Body and Other Parties.
Yeah.
That has a riff on the Green
That's
Ribbon
it.
story.
He said
as well.
he read that, which was based on this story.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
like a folk tale. And he said he read that book
Yeah.
while he was writing the script, and he said, "Oh, that's what inspired that scene."
Nice. Yeah.
So yeah, like I love that.
Yeah.
He's a guy who. I love when filmmakers say that they watch a lot of movies. I love when because some filmmakers are like, "Oh, I haven't seen anything in years" or whatnot. He's like, "No, I watch everything. I'm reading all the time, I'm watching stuff.
Yeah.
I'm always pulling for things. I'm always looking for different avenues." So that's a very cool artist. And also the fact that another aspect of the film that that he doesn't talk about a lot in the film, but it is there. The fact that by casting Dev Patel, he also casts Shrita Chowdhury, I think her name is, to play the mom. So we have these two Asian British actors playing these parts, and it's just part of the framework. And then in the background, there's like different people, different races, which is accurate actually because medieval, there were different people who moved from country to country. So there were a lot of different diversity we don't talk about in these Arthurian stories. So the fact that he's like, yeah, I think it's cool to broaden horizons a little bit and play with this. I'm not trying to make the traditional exactly Anglo white and very by the book King Arthur story. I'm doing whatever I want. I can pull different directions. I can reference different things. I can cast different people.
This Gawain fucks for sure.
Well, and that's the thing. I think the film suffers if you cast someone who's not Dev Patel. Like I think
so good.
He's very good.
It's like
Very good.
such his movie, and he's so good. Yes.
Yeah, because
I think everyone's firing in this movie.
Yeah.
Honestly.
Oh sure.
but a lot of it rests on him, like because he makes it so human. He really does. Like it's like I said in the book, he's just kind of this pure knight. It's not much nuance to him really, but he brings a lot of humanity, of humor, but also he's a coward at times, and he's
also
selfish.
realizing that fuck, dude, this sucks. I can't believe I agreed to do this. Oh my god.
Yeah, I mean, even just the way that the initial game, the Christmas game, is staged, where he's just like, he chops off the Green Knight's head, and he's kind of like waiting for, like, I did it, everybody, and there's just like this, like,
okay,
you did do it,
Because he could have just nicked him, but no, he went for the kill stroke.
Well, I mean, to be fair, Arthur does whisper in his ear, "It's just a game, boy. Don't worry about it too much."
Sean Harris as the king, I think he's lovely because he's got
that whispery, raspy voice.
But he's very comforting. He's his uncle. He's a very kind like uncle. Like I want better for you. I'm just trying to be out there looking out for you, kid. I'm just saying, try a little harder, maybe.
Yeah.
Just like his mom, get out of the house sometimes.
Just get out once, man. Just once.
Yeah.
And he's like, "Tell me a story about yourself." "I got no stories." He's like, "Fucking guy, dude. Jesus Christ.
Kid.
No wonder I don't know you."
So this other day, I was whoring, and
Yeah, I probably shouldn't tell the king that. Yeah, I think this whole movie is several characters basically telling him, like, "You sure that's what you want, man? You sure about it?" Like when he's talking to the Lord and he's like, "What do you want?" He's like, "Oh, honor, don't be a knight." He's like, "Is that a question?"
Is that a question?
Yeah. And he's like, no. And he's like, "Okay." And he's like, "So you just do this thing and you get honor?" And he's like, "Yeah." And he's like, "Huh, okay. Seems a little too easy, but okay, sure." And then it's not until the very end of the film that he sees like truly being pushed.
I mean, that's
not easy.
That's the thing that is kind of great, like especially compared poem to movie. Is so the moment when he meets the Green Knight in the chapel, and the Green Knight's like, "All right, man, bend over. It's time for me to
Let's just get this out of the way,
choppy. Is just like
He's like, oh shit, is it already here? Cool, man, you're here. That's cool. Good of you, man. Good sir.
I'll get to hacking.
Yeah, I'll get to hack.
yeah. It's like in the poem. I think he flinches once, but then he's like, you know what? Nerves are steadied. Is the fact that it leads to this whole 10-minute diversion where he's like, what if I just run away right now? Because like in the same way he plays fear so well in that moment where he's held up by the like highwaymen, like he just plays fear in that moment. He's just like, this is it. This is the end of everything. Fuck.
And my favorite line in the whole film, is this really all there is? What else ought there be?
Yeah.
Incredible line. It's like,
pretty great.
What else do you want? Like, you can go home, I guess, and do some more whoring.
Yeah.
But like, and kill some more people, I guess. But like, what else is there to life, man? I don't know. This is it.
You want it to be tested, bro. This is what it is.
And you're gonna die eventually. Why not right now? I guess.
Yeah.
Not right
In
now.
fact, here's a little preview.
Yeah.
What do you think of that? You know what?
Yeah.
Maybe you're right. Maybe it's choppy time.
Yeah.
Like,
But then again, though, there is the whole debate. Like the last line is, "Now off with your head." Is that, all right? Off there, I'm going to cut it off, or is it off? Go with your head, as in go away with your head attached. You can read it both ways because it just cuts to the title. Boom.
It does cut to the title.
So like,
I do think he dies in this.
you think he dies in this version? Okay. Yeah.
I think that's the only way to truly test one's like commitment to duty.
I agree.
I think he learns that like, this is the best option, maybe.
I do keep jokingly call it the Last Temptation of Sir Gawain, because I do think in the same way, Last Temptation of Christ, I do think he has to
The Donnie Darko
be
coin.
shown. The Donnie Darko of Sir Gawain.
There you go.
Is that he has to be shown is like, you know what? This is the way
Gary
it has
Gawain.
to be. This is the way it has to be. Gary Gawain has to
like a superhero.
Has to be in bed and get that plane engine dropped on him.
Yeah. Is it fate? You're right. Like, because that's the whole thing. Like in a lot of mythology, is that you're fated something. Is Gawain fated to die? Is that part of his fate? He doesn't know. Like he doesn't know what his fate is. He doesn't know what he's supposed to do here. So maybe my fate is just to die here.
When I saw The Green Knight in the theater, that ending really was kind of like I don't know how I feel about that. Like it really, even with the ambiguity, like I was just sort of like, I don't feel great. Like that doesn't.
Yeah.
But like oddly this time,
I love
the way that Ralph.
That's my first time seeing it.
The way that Ralph.
Oh, okay. All right.
The way that Ralph Ineson or like says it
Ralphie boy.
is so bright.
Yeah.
That I actually was kind of like, you know what, I kind of feel good this time.
Lowery has said like I think he has said like, I want you to feel good in the ending. Whatever if he dies or not, I want you to feel like it's hopeful in a sense.
Well, because either
to a
way it
realization.
comes out, the Green Knight is like, oh shit, hey man, you do have some honor. Hey man,
good job.
That's
Hey,
good.
Yeah.
Off with your head,
And
man.
then he's got to chop his head off. You know,
You should feel good.
he's
in this
still
moment.
proud of him.
Yeah. my dear sweet knight.
Yeah.
Like he calls him a knight. Someone called me a knight finally, and like and they meant it.
Yeah,
I think that's the thing is I think the first time I saw it, it maybe felt patronizing to me, but this time I was like, oh no, he means it.
Yeah.
No, he for
means it.
sure means it.
Yeah.
Because he's surprised. He's like, I didn't think you would do this. Didn't think you would get here. It's a lot to ask of someone.
Cool. So we should start wrapping up. Were there any big thoughts we wanted to get to before the final votes or final rankings or ratings?
No.
Cool. All right. So first round is always, did we like the book? I think this is all going to be pretty obvious, but did we like the book? Connor?
Yes.
It's okay. Yeah, it's okay.
Would it be better if someone who wasn't that guy on YouTube read it, do you think?
No, I actually enjoyed that weird little nerd quite a bit.
The Hidebound Convivium?
Yes, Hidebound Convivium, something like that. Yeah. It's
out.
just, I don't know. It's just
There are different interpretations. There are different different translations. I guess like I'm sure
it's too loose.
Someone's made
the story's too loose.
Someone's definitely made like a more modern translation. I'm sure. So like you can definitely.
I don't
read
even
it
think
different
it's
ways.
translation. It's just the book version. The more like this is how a knight should be version of it. I just didn't jive with that much.
Interesting. Okay.
Yeah, I just didn't because I was like, I feel like he's not really being tested all that much in this version, whereas Dev Patel is put through the fucking ringer. And I'm like, yeah, man. Yeah.
So like
you're being tested right
So like
now.
a middling thumbs up for the book.
Yeah, it's just too fabulist for me.
Okay.
It's too like, yeah.
Like a classic myth kind of thing.
Yeah, I know. But yes, I know.
My thought is yes, I give it a thumbs up. I do, as I said, I think hearing Terry Jones's performance added to the enjoyment of it, so I didn't get too lost in the language. Like there were obviously like tons of words that I didn't totally parse, but it was just sort of like getting caught up in the flow of it was nice. As I said, the alliteration kind of bugged me in places, but not enough to like make me change my, I still give it a thumbs up. Cool. Did we like the movie, Connor?
Oh yeah, definitely. As I sit here in my Green Knight sweater, yes, I love the movie. It's one of my favorite films of the last 10 years.
Oh, nice.
Oh yeah, I love this. And again, I think it's one of those cases where I think like the book is this kind of archetypal piece of history.
Yeah.
And like so like, obviously it's important and it means so much to so many people and it's remained relevant so long. But definitely I think I appreciate the book more while I love the movie. And so I definitely obviously the movie wouldn't exist without the book, but the movie is the thing I'm going to keep going back to every year kind of a thing versus the book is like, oh yeah, I'm glad I've read that. I'm glad I know that history. I can appreciate and I love how it spawned so many different iterations over the centuries.
Yeah.
But as of now, this is like the film is my favorite interpretation of that story.
Yeah. Have you, just out of curiosity, have you read like any of the other Arthur, like Mort d'Arthur or whatever? Or?
I think I tried. I think it is like it's. I think I read it like maybe like in high school because I wanted to get once again like I saw Merlin, so I'll try reading the actual book now, or I'll try reading Once a Future King maybe even too. But like it's a more challenging, like it's a different time. It's a literature is like this is nice because it is so short, so you can it's a little more digestible in a sense.
Yeah.
Because there's a lot of cool stories in like in the whole thing. Like we don't even get into Lancelot. He's not even mentioned by name in the film. Like, this guy's his chair is empty. That's Lancelot's chair. But like that's the whole story of Lancelot and Guinevere. That's not even mentioned here. That's a great epic
We don't
story.
talk about Lancelot.
Yeah, you mean
at this table.
the wonderful film First Night, directed
First
by
Night.
Jerry Zucker, the director of Ghost, Top Secret, and Airplane?
Yeah.
But so like just like Norse mythology or Celtic mythology, some of these great mythologies that these great stories that have lived for so long. But it's nice. I think this is a great example of a film that took that.
Yeah.
And I can really make this, more applicable to today, but also really elevated with cinematic language.
Yeah.
And a lot of times I feel like it's tough to kind of match the eternal quality of the book with cinematic language, and this accomplishes it, I think, really beautifully.
Yeah.
Nice. Alan.
Oh yeah, I absolutely fucking love the movie.
Nice.
That's one of the reasons why I wanted to do this. Because I for some reason just didn't see this in theaters, even though everyone in my entire life has been like, I think you would really like it. I'm like, yeah, I'll get around to it when I want to. Thank you.
You were waiting for the podcast.
Yeah. So I was like, this is a good reason to like finally watch this movie, and I'm glad I did. It's fucking, god damn, this is a banger for a movie, man. I'm really mad I didn't see this in theaters. Pretty fucking stupid of me, honestly.
It was still like the time when like theaters were just coming back.
Oh yeah. Mm-hmm.
Like it
No
almost would be
excuse.
nice if they
No
did the
excuse.
Tenet thing and like gave it another like week-long.
Don't bring
run.
that up.
Yeah.
I missed Tenet again in theaters. Don't bring up that.
I drove out to a drive-in to see Tenet.
Oh,
That was the only
beautiful.
way to see it in a theater. Was the Mission Tiki Drive-in. R.I.P.
R.I.P.
Yeah.
But yeah, this movie was excellent.
ironically the pandemic extended the life of the Mission Tiki for like a year.
Oh, 2 years. We took extra years on it. It was great, but then all things must off with their head. Mission Tiki Drive-in.
Yeah.
You got 2 years in a day.
Yeah.
Yes, I like it. I kind of wish that I loved it more. But because I like David Lowery and I like what the film is doing, but for whatever reason, it doesn't 100% jibe with me, but not in a way that I'm like, this is poorly made, or it's just like something about my taste. It's not 100%, but I do like it very much. And I think Dev Patel is like, as the heart of it is like the performance is so great, and he's such an important element of it that like, yeah, I'm all on board. Thumbs up for the film as well. All right, now the nitty gritty, which is better, film or I was about to say film or movie, film or book. Conor.
Well, yeah, I think, like I said, I think for me, I'm more of a film person than a book person, I guess, in a lot of ways.
Same.
Like I'm trying to read more books as I get older because I feel like I've lost the habit.
About it.
But yeah, I really love this.
You
film.
got nothing to prove, man. It's fun. I wouldn't worry about it.
And also audiobooks
Honor.
are books. So
Yeah. And they allow you to play video games and read books at the same time. Beautiful.
because of this podcast, I've really started listening to more audiobooks, but but I've come to appreciate the good ones, and
Yeah.
that was a little tangent, just a little something about me.
Yeah, when it comes to like adaptations, like sometimes I listened to your guys' Jaws episode. I think like Jaws, the movie is so good, no one even talks about the book anymore. It's kind of like it eclipses the book so entirely that it's based on a book, whatever. But I think this is a great example of like the book and the movie are both great, and they both should be talked about. They both are important in their own different ways. So if this is important to British medieval literature, it's important to mythology, it's important to quest stories. It influences subconsciously so many stories over the generations. But this film is so exciting and so unique and complex and so much fun. It's funny, too. It's a really funny movie at times. But also it's got some head chopping, so it's also got that, too. It's great. It's got the whole package, man.
Got some for the whole family.
The whole family can watch this. So, yeah, for me, the one I'll keep going back to is the film.
Perfect. Allan.
Yeah, I hands down the movie for me. It just brings all the nuance and stuff that I would want for a story like this, and it just fucking rules, man. I don't know what to say. It's great.
And we know that Tyler is illiterate, so he would probably have gone movie. So mostly for that, and like as I said, I did enjoy the movie, but mostly because like who cares what my vote is at this point? I'm gonna go book because I think it is probably like something that people will be like, I saw The Green Knight. Do I really need to read it? I think
it enriches the experience.
Yeah,
for
I think
sure.
there's
I was glad that I read the book.
Exactly. I think there's value in checking it out, and the Tolkien translation is pretty enjoyable. And again, like doing what I did, which kind of took me back to like school, where you would like read as like someone read aloud to you.
From line 27, you continue.
Right.
And then
popcorn
was kind of a fun exercise, and especially in the case of this, like the poem only works out to about roughly like 80 pages or so it's really only like 2.5 hour read.
Yeah. I was just gonna say I don't hate the book. I don't know if it came across like that or whatever, but like it's just the interpretation I got while listening to that book and forming my opinion of Gawain, I didn't love. And it kind of flashed back to me like reading other tales of similar tales in like college and high school, being like, I don't understand this worldview or this point of view. Yeah. And I like this film because this film basically is like, this is what you probably would think for this kind of story. Yeah. For me personally. And I was like, this is the exact representation that I would have done, I think. Nice. So that's why I really, really like the movie. It's like, he's humanized, you know?
Yeah, I agree. I do think, especially with characterization, there's definitely a lot more nuance and shading.
Which, it's not fair of the poem, obviously. But I'm sorry.
It's a different era. There's a different sort of standard. Mm-hmm. But yeah, I think especially if someone is listening to this and like hasn't attempted, I think it's a very approachable Arthurian legend, mythological poetry,
Christianity history
stuff. Cool. So the movie has triumphed. We will be back next month. We're not 100% certain what the next title will be. It might be Drive. I think you should read Drive anyway and check out the movie again, because I know you've watched it. You got the jacket and everything. So just do that. Conor, did you have anything you wanted to plug?
No, I'm just my Instagram is at VHS _spectacular. Posting a lot about movies and VHS, and also I love like Los Angeles in general, so I drive around the city a lot, take pictures of stuff. So yeah, if you like what you heard today and want more of that, go to Instagram.
It's I follow that account. It's I recommend it.
Thank you.
Yes, and yeah, come by Skylight Books. Mick's gonna tell you some things after this when the music kicks in and whatever. So I won't say too much.
Or if you listen to last week's episode where I doxed myself, come hang out with me at my apartment. Yeah, who cares?
Yeah, before or after a Dodgers game, or if it's a very slow, boring Dodgers game, just
hanging out right
just
over there.
wander over. Yeah. You'll probably be playing some sort of game.
Oh, Helldivers 2, baby.
Nice. So we hope to see you next month, and in the meanwhile, there'll be other podcasts. Listen to those. We got good stuff coming for you.
Yeah.
Have a lovely rest of your life.
Even if you're no knight.
Keep your head.
Thanks for listening to this episode of the Skylight Books podcast series. We hope you enjoyed it. If you'd like to check out the book featured in this episode, or others, please visit skylightbooks.com. If you're in the Los Angeles area, stop by for one of our live in-person author events. You can find a calendar on our website. If you like this podcast, leave us a review. It really helps us out. Our music is by Duck the Piano Wire. Till next time.
Yay! We clap for ourselves now?
that was actually like a perfect. All right, I already pushed record. We're getting levels. Beautiful.
Pop, pop, pippity pop.
Get the burp out of the way. Excuse me.
I say let it rip.
Just burp right into the mic.
I think so, yeah.
All right, next time I will. Next time I will. Listeners, you're in for a treat.
Well, you can't plan for it now. It has to be natural.
No, I know. But I know what I had for lunch. There will be more burps. California burrito, carne asada.
Burp Sando.
Yeah. Burp Sando. All right, great.